How are you guys? Well, I didn't put any makeup or do my hair or anything, so I hope you will bear with me. Um, but what we've got going here is I am testing out this software. I'm going to be doing some lives coming up on a variety of subjects. And for my balloonies, I'm also offering my HomeStudy Balloon Business Bootcamp at a huge discount. Now, this is, let's see, just give me a second here. I'm just trying to see if it's even working. There we go. Okay, it is working. Yes. So anyways, let's talk about Balloon Business Bootcamp because we are growing by leaps and bounds. And I've been seeing in the group that you guys are asking a lot of questions, and especially a lot of questions about marketing and pricing, which makes sense. These are the two things that are the hardest for people in our creative industry. We get into it because we're creatives and we love design and we love, events and we love making people happy and all those other things. But at the end of the day, we need to remember that this is, in fact, also a business. And that's why so many of us have trouble with pricing and marketing. So that is what Balloon Business Bootcamp is focused on. It's focused very intensively only on marketing and pricing. Let's see. Hi. Oh, I can't see your name in the chat here. So I'm trying to monitor in two places, so that's why I'm looking around like a crazy person. Hey, buenas tardes. Well, it's actually buenos dias here because it's still morning. Wow, we got people from all over the place. Very exciting. So, hey guys, we are talking about Balloon Business Bootcamp HomeStudy Edition, but while you have me on the live, feel free to ask me anything. Let's see. I'm going to be doing a bunch of lives, so part of the purpose of this is to just test my system, and then the other part of the purpose is to give people a chance to ask questions about Balloon Business Bootcamp. So what earphones are you? That is a very good question. Let's see. They are, you know what? They're Sony's. Sony's, they're on sale right now at Costco, actually, if you want some good headphones. Yeah, okay, note to self, next time you do a live, do your hair and makeup first. Yeah. Wow, you guys are from all over the place today. How exciting. How do you make a better arch? Let's see, who's asking that? Vance. In order for me to tell you how to make a better arch, I'd need to know what you're already doing. So in the group, in the beginning Balloon Professionals group, put a picture of your arch and take close-ups of where you think you're having trouble, and then tag me if you want me to look at it. But then I and the group can come on in and help you with that. So let's talk some more about Balloon Business Bootcamp. The biggest question that I've been seeing is really in regards to pricing, and then the second biggest question is marketing. How do I get customers? How do I tell people about me? How do I price my stuff? And so this is, I would say, the hardest part of our business, and that is why I did my Balloon Business Bootcamp. Now, I want to explain to you about the HomeStudy version of Balloon Business Bootcamp, because what it is it's the recordings from a couple of years ago, and that's the reason that I'm able to release it at a significant, I mean like hugely significant discount. And I have it on sale right now. The sale was actually supposed to end today, but I'm gonna let it go through the weekend. So yeah, you can do PayPal if you need to make payments. If you need a payment plan, just contact me, email me, or private message me. I'm willing to work with you. I really want to help you guys out. I want to give you the resources so that you can grow and thrive in this fun industry. So yeah, ask me more questions, because if it keeps freezing, Nina, it probably is your connection. Or it could be my connection, but if it's my connection, then it would be freezing for everybody. Let's see, Balloon Business Bootcamp. I'm gonna post the link here in the comments. I'm gonna try to anyway. No, balloon course. Okay. So anyways, thank you for being my guinea pig on this. but I have no idea how this is showing up over on YouTube. Hopefully it's showing up okay. What is my advice for somebody just starting off pricing wise? Okay. So that's a really big question. My first piece of advice is decide who you are as a business. And what I mean by that is that not everybody is your customer, and you want to be really clear on who your customer is. If you don't know who your customer is, if you think that anybody with a pulse needs balloons and they're going to buy from you, then you're not going to speak their language. So you want to be very targeted. Pricing wise, you want to make sure that you're pricing yourself to make money, right? I know that there's really a tendency when you're new to lowball yourself, but the problem is it is so hard to go up in pricing once you've established a low price. It's better to establish a profitable price and then have sales and discounts, right? Because then you can stop it, right? It's an introductory special. Because I'm building my portfolio, I'm offering 50% off or something like that. So that's, starting off, that's really what you want to do with pricing. Pricing is a really involved thing, and my Balloon Business Bootcamp is a 6-week course that really intensively teaches pricing, marketing, and sales. So, standing on one foot in a live, I can't do it justice the way that you need. Obviously I'm biased, but I definitely recommend taking the course because it teaches you how to price, right? I'm not just throwing prices out there and saying, I charge this much, you should too. I'm trying to teach you how to price and how to make money. I want you profitable. Yeah, pricing is especially hard with family. And with family, honestly, I do it for free because here's what I found. You can't charge family full price. And if you give them a discount, they're going to expect you to go above and beyond, and they're going to be the biggest nightmare, a pain in the, excuse the French, ass more than any other customer you will ever have, and they're going to complain about everything. So if you just give it to them, their complaints are minimized. They can't complain. They can't ask for a refund. They can't ask for more and more and more and more. So there's no scope creep. So I recommend if you're doing a family event, just do it for free. Or don't have them buy the balloons. You never want to have somebody buy the balloons because you don't want to ever put their focus on how much are the materials. So instead, what you want to do is you just want to say, you know what, give me $100, give me $200, just make up a number, whatever that number is, to go towards the materials. Like, you don't need to hand them the invoice and say, here's how much it is. So, and friends too, it's true. You're never a prophet in your own hometown, right? So family and friends can be some of the most difficult to get money out of. And so for that reason, I recommend just do it for free, and then you can control how much you have to do it. Another thing about family and friends is, since I'm doing it for free, I don't let them pick what they get. I'm going to make them whatever it is that I need a picture of. I'll use their colors, right? I'm not going to mess up their color scheme, but I'm going to do what I need a picture of. So yeah, but it does help with word of mouth. Don't be afraid of doing strategically free events. Just, don't undercharge. Yeah, I know it's a problem. So for outdoor balloons, I'm in San Diego. So, we get up to about just over 100, but we don't have the kind of humidity that you have. The best advice that I can give you is tough text balloons tend to do better outside with heat and with humidity. You want to severely underinflate, like severely, maybe even only half the balloon size, so that it really has room to expand. Try as hard as you can not to use dark colors, and try to keep them out of the direct sunlight. I know a lot of the times, in San Diego, every event is outdoors, and especially now in COVID time when you're not allowed to be indoors. Hi, I've got dust on me. So yeah, I mean, we have to contend with outdoor balloons a lot, and it sucks. So really all you can do is employ best practices and hope for the best, and really, try to encourage your client to employ best practices as well. So what other questions can I answer here? I do want to talk more about Balloon Business Bootcamp. It's ballooncourse.com. and that is the course, the recordings of a previous balloon business bootcamp that I'm releasing at a huge COVID discount right now. Tough Tex balloons, that's a brand. Like you have Qualitex balloons, you have metallic balloons, and then there's a brand called Tough Tex that they sell them a lot to the car dealerships. They tend to do well outdoors. They're kind of made more for outdoors. What kind of inventory system do I use? Not a great one. My inventory system is spreadsheets, and my memory. And we keep them in boxes that are labeled. So basically what happens is we get a call for a job, we go straight to the balloon room, and we just start, like poking through the boxes to see the boxes are separated by size and color. And so that shows us, oh, look, we have 3 bags of 11-inch dark blue and we need 5. So we better order 2. So that's kind of how we do it. I have for 20 years wanted to get a gun scan inventory system, but now that I pretty much sold my business to my ex, it doesn't make sense for me to invest in that anymore. That's his problem. So let's see, what other questions do we have here? When doing balloon decor, do I charge for the stands? I do not. I consider those to be hardware that we come back for. We do charge for the setup and strike. And if I was doing an event in a city far away where I wasn't able to pick up the frames, then I would roll that into the price. But I always strike my own jobs. Well, let me be clear. Actually, I have a strike team that strikes the jobs. But it's not optional for the client whether or not they want to pay the setup and strike fee, and it's not optional whether they want us to come strike the balloons. That's just part of the service that we provide, and it's part of the cost of doing business. So when you set your boundaries for your clients and you're fair and firm and consistent, they will accept it. Right? So it can be hard if you've been doing business with somebody for a really long time and you've never charged them a setup and strike fee, and then all of a sudden you want to charge it to them, right? You're going to get some pushback. But if it's just part of what you do, then you're not going to get pushback. And if you don't think that you're ready to charge it, what is strike? Okay, so strike is a word that comes from a theater, and it means to tear down the set afterwards. So if you don't want to charge it or you're not comfortable with it, then what you can do is you can add it to your invoice and waive the fee. And in this way, you're training people to expect it, but you don't have to charge it. It's also a place that if you need to seal the deal, that you can say, okay, you know what, I'm going to throw in the setup and strike fee. So I'm not going to charge you that if you sign now or whatever. So so there's ways that you can use that to your advantage if if you're not ready to charge it or not certain what it should be or whatever. Same thing with your pricing. If you're not clear on your pricing, then you can offer things as introductory pricing as you get it figured out, right? And then people aren't going to come back to you and go, oh, but it was only $50 or $100 last time. You can say, well, yeah, that was my introductory pricing, and now that we've established, we're back at regular prices. Okay, have we frozen? No, it's okay. All right, I'm trying to monitor it on the other screen here. So yeah, let's see. I wonder, where's the best place? Nope, not there. I guess right there. It's kind of weird to trying to get my setup going here. Let's see, what other questions do we have? Questions. Will I be offering this course? Okay, so this is a home study course. It's offered all the time, but not for the price that I have it at right now. Right now, it really is a special price for, because I know people are struggling at the moment. Although I also know that some people are killing it. I've been so impressed with what I've been seeing people do with yard art. That is amazing. I know that there are some people that have had their absolute best months yet. And I know that some people are brand new and have just been killing it. I am so excited to see that. I love that. Is balloon shine necessary for outdoor events? Quite honestly, thank you, Nina. Yeah, Tough Text, that's correct. Quite honestly, I don't use balloon shine. I get the appeal, right, to keep the balloons nice and shiny and keep that you know, that kind of just inflated texture on it. But it's a pain in the butt. It's messy. It's sticky. It's going to make the balloons stick together if you use it outside with the humidity. And quite honestly, I mean, even though it might look a little bit nicer, as long as the balloons oxidize evenly, if you don't point it out or put them side by side, people really don't notice. They're really looking at the color and the shape. So, you know, some things that I might do is I might just pre-prepare my clients by telling them, oh, and you know, the balloons are going to oxidize and they're going to turn into you know, a nice velvety patina. Oh, this is exciting. Who just Kim? Yes, Kim. I wish I could get you on this live. I don't know how to do that yet though. And I would love to hear your story and what's been going on with you since you took boot camp and all the amazing things that have been happening. You know what? Maybe we can even schedule that for another day. To do an interview with you and some of the other past students, and just kind of a where are you now kind of thing. I really want to know. So I do want to say, guys, even though it is a HomeStudy Balloon Business Bootcamp, I will be setting up a live webinar probably in a couple of weeks for people in the Balloon Business Bootcamp group. And that way I can, you know, answer questions and just kind of see how people are doing and check in and everything like that. Hey, Dana, we are talking about Balloon Business Bootcamp HomeStudy Edition, my testing out the new software of StreamYard, and pretty much any other questions you care to throw at me while I'm on here on this live for a while. So, yeah, and let's see, what is Amanda saying here? Nice, drive-by birthday tables. I love it. I love it. And now I need to be completely transparent and admit to you, as I've said, you know, be a question and answer session, especially so we can talk about things that are relevant now in COVID time. What brands do I recommend? The brands that I use are Qualitex, Batalic, and sometimes Tuftex if I'm working outdoors. I don't have a lot of experience with Gamar. I've heard good things about it. They've got some great colors and patterns, but I have not played with them, so I can't speak to that. I can't. Yeah, I know. Hopefully it will. Hopefully it will keep up with us. Am I still frozen, or am I okay now? It's not a DVD. You can watch it in your own time. Absolutely. It's a login. It's a membership portal. I'm using Kajabi if you're familiar with that system. And so basically you'll get a login and you can just log in and consume it, take the courses at your leisure. So basically the way that it works technically, once you log in, you pay for the course. I'm gonna manually put you into the system, and then what's going to happen is for 6 weeks, over 6 weeks, once a week, new content is going to drip out, right? So instead of just putting the whole thing out that you're overwhelmed by it because there's all kinds of goodies in there and extras and everything else, it's set up to drip out over 6 weeks. Now, you can take as long as you want to go through the information. You do not have to finish it in 6 weeks. But it's not all, you're not going to have the complete course until 6 weeks, until you've gone through 6 weeks. And then if you want to take, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, a month for each module, that's up to you. You can do it as long as you want to, but it's dripped out over 6 months. I have not had enough coffee today. I am like just dropping thoughts left and right here. Nina, if all you can see is a black screen, maybe try to refresh your page. You might just need to, refresh and come back into the live. I know that it had frozen for a second and went black, but I think that it went back, that it started working again. So pros and cons of allowing a pickup method. Okay, as in they set up the garland. For me personally, I've never done that. From the very beginning, I set up as a high end, and so I didn't allow my clients to pick stuff up. Firstly, I'm home based. I don't want people coming to my house, and quite honestly, my house is a mess. So everything that I do is on site. Now, I do a lot of setup at home so that I spend as little time on site as possible. I rent trucks. I have a corporate account with Penske, and got a favorable rate, and I just rent a truck when I need to carry more than my van will allow me to. So now there are other people that really love the pickup method because it allows them to not have to go out, to not have to rent a truck, and it puts the burden on the client. For me, the thing that really worried me with the pickup method was that I can't guarantee quality. Once it leaves my house, I don't know where it's going. I don't know what they're doing with it. So I can't guarantee that it's going to look good. And I'm not going to go out to do a repair for something that I don't know how, like what happened to it, how did it break or whatever. So for that reason, I don't allow people to pick things up from me. I just go and, I set up on site for every event or delivery. I started my balloon business in the 90s. So yeah, good 25 years or so ago. What year is it now? I have to think about this. But I want to say maybe 94, 95 was when I started. Yeah, let's see. I think what sizes do I use when making columns and arches? My column poles are set at 7 feet. My standard arch is 25 foot. That's linear, right? So that's not a 25-foot arch. That's if you stretch it out end to end, that you've got 25 feet. Once you put it with the curve, then it's going to be about 10 to 12 feet in width. What method do I use for hot air balloons? I use helium. I'm guessing that you're talking about the centerpiece that looks like a hot air balloon. If you're asking about the big one that people use for a photo, for like a baby photo, I haven't had a reason to do one of those. Nobody's hired me to do that yet. So, yeah, so I never tried that one. Let's see, what other questions do we have here? I want to give you the link again for Bootcamp. It's ballooncourse.com for the HomeStudy edition. And if you can just go over to the page, you can check it out. Oh, let's talk about the bonus. One of the biggest bonuses, and this, oh, wait, I don't think that's going to work. There we go, www. So one of the biggest bonuses and one of the things that's hardest, especially for people just starting out, is that you don't have any pictures. So one of the bonuses that I've opened up my entire photo library to you. If you see a picture on my website that is not in the photo library, just let me know. I'll try to track it down. I've gone through a few different computers over the years, so some things, have gotten lost. But I tried to put everything into the folder that I give you guys access to. And you get a license to use those photos in any way that you want, short of publishing them in a book. So what I mean by that is, like, I have books on Amazon. If you're going to write a book and you're going to publish it with an ISBN number, then you would need to give me credit for the photo. Otherwise, you can use those photos on your website. You can use them on your Facebook pages. You can use them in your marketing material, in your print material, pretty much anywhere that you want. However you want, and you don't need to give me any accreditation. It is a full license. So that's a huge bonus that we're offering. In fact, when I first started doing balloons, there was a company that was offering, and I will admit that their photos were much more professional quality photos. That is, they hired a photographer and did style shoots for them, where mine are, well, I'll come back to my photos in a moment. But anyways, they were selling them, $30 a piece, $100 a piece or more. So, for the price of the course, you're getting access to every photo that I have. Now, let's talk about the quality of those photos. Some of those photos are professional photos that have been given to me by the photographers or that I hired photographers for. And some of them have been intentionally left. For example, maybe the helium tank is in the picture, or somebody's standing there, or something like that. And I did that on purpose to show scale and to show that it was a real event and not something that was just done for a photo shoot. So not all of the photos are, your perfect Pinterest quality, beautifully staged photos. Some of them are, but some of them are really meant by design to say, this is a real event. You know, this is actually happening. So yeah, that's what that photo bonus is. And let's see what else. In the course, like I said, we're really focusing on the business of the business, right? I mean, I have hundreds and hundreds of videos on YouTube. They're all free. I've got the books, and so the course itself is really talking about making money, right? You can get recipes all over the place, but where we falter is in actually making money, and so that's what we're talking about. Is it more profitable to work with corporate or non-corporate clients? It totally depends on you. So personally, I personally like corporate. That's what I built my business on, corporate and high end. But it's easier to get in with with the neighborhood, right? It's easier to get in with your church families. I mean, birthday parties are a really easy market. So again, it really depends on what kind of business model you decide on for yourself. Are you high end? Are you Walmart, right? Are you making a volume business where you need to sell as much as you possibly can? And if that's the case, then you're going to want to go private, because to do deliveries or do birthdays, you're going to be able to fill that volume a lot easier than doing corporate. My business model, on the other hand, I really only want it to work 5-6 days a month, and to do bigger jobs, but have fewer of them. So that's why I said that the first thing that you want to do is decide as a business, who are you? Who do you want to talk to? Who do you want your clients to be? How would you recommend approaching businesses to use your displays? Smile and dial. I mean, you want to show them what you can do and what you can do for them. And really at the end of the day, it's smile and dial. You just got to pull up your big boy or your big girl panties and cold call. I know that's not the answer you want to hear, but that really is what's going to yield results fast. So let's see, what else have we got going here? I have no sense of how long I'm going or anything. So I appreciate you guys bearing with me as I'm trying to figure out this new software system here, the streaming system. It's called StreamYard. And it's pretty cool. I think that we're simultaneously streaming to both Facebook and YouTube, which is very cool. So for my YouTube peoples, now both of these lives will be available later, of course. So if you're just joining us, welcome. We're talking about Balloon Business Bootcamp. Basically, we're talking about the business of the business and making money with balloons. So yeah, let's see. I want to address something that I see people talking about a lot, saying this is expensive. This brand of balloon is expensive, or things like this. Don't scrimp on your materials, right? You might think you're saving a nickel, but you're not, because what's going to happen is if you use a lesser quality balloon, they're going to pop more. You're going to use more of it, and it's going to diminish your customer's confidence in you. So you're really better off to use a quality product and to charge for it. Be aware of your costs and pass them on to your customer. Your customer is going to have a better experience getting a little bit more expensive, but a much higher quality product than you using the cheapest balloons that you can find to save a nickel. You're not doing yourself or your customer a service that way. And if people are not willing to pay your prices, then they're not your customer. And so never be in a race to the bottom. Set your prices where they need to be so that you're making money. And that might not be where my prices are. You need to figure that out for yourself. And that is what the course talks about very much. We do not talk about bookkeeping, not specifically. Bookkeeping is kind of its own course altogether. So if you want to do bookkeeping, I recommend going to your local College of Extended Studies or community college, and you can take it for probably, I don't know what a community college is going for per unit right now, but probably like 25 or 30 bucks a unit for 3 or 4 units. Or if you do it through the College of Extended Studies, it's free. All of those kind of retraining courses, you can generally, if you look in your city's community college and continuing college education, just Google it. For bookkeeping and accounting and things like that, you can usually find those courses for free. So yeah. What else? What else? What else? Hey, Julie. How are you? Good to see you. Julie is rocking it. I've been loving seeing your pictures. We are talking about this the COVID relief home study version of Balloon Business Bootcamp. And again, I want to be very clear that we will do in a live webinar, in a few weeks for the bootcamp students, a question and answer to talk about, how to target things during COVID, what's working now, those kinds of things also, so that the students who are taking the home study edition have a chance to talk to me and ask me questions with a immediate response, not waiting for it in the Facebook group. And so, but the bootcamp itself, since it's recorded, from a previous version, we're not specifically talking about COVID and what's happening now, but we are talking about pricing, marketing, and sales, and just general best practices. So that's what we cover in the bootcamp. And I've learned something right now, and that is that I clearly need to have another cup of coffee before coming on and doing one of these so that my brain is not scattered all over the place. Yes. So how have you guys been doing in your quarantine? You may notice if you watch me a lot that I've gained some weight. And I think a lot of us have in COVID, but the reason that I've gained weight is kind of a funny story. Some of you may or may not know that right before everything got shut down, my son was supposed to have his bar mitzvah. Literally the week before my son's bar mitzvah, everything got shut down here in San Diego. And we were going to do a candy buffet for the bar mitzvah. And so here we go. We have a massive shutdown, stay-at-home orders, and I'm stuck in a house with $1,000 worth of candy. So while everybody else gained their COVID-19, I gained my COVID-30. and now today, maybe, if I can stick to it, I'm trying to get rid of my COVID-30. Yes. So next time that you're planning on doing a candy buffet, make sure that there's not going to be a global pandemic shutting down your city before you stock your house with $1,000 worth of candy for a candy buffet. Anyways, that has nothing to do with boot camp or balloons. It just thought of it because, did. Lourdes, how are you? Booming and busy. I love it. I love seeing you guys' success. I love seeing your pictures. There's a word in Yiddish. It's kvel. And what it means is to be so proud that your heart is literally bursting. And that's how I feel every time I see one of you guys rocking it. And I see your pictures of your events, and I see your success, and my heart swells. I'm so excited and proud and humbled to know that I was a small part of your journey. And I just love to see where you're going. And it means so much to me that to see my students just killing it and becoming leaders in this industry. And I just love it. Oh, I think, yeah, I know. A lot of chocolate. a lot of chocolate. Yeah, I've been missing making videos, Jennifer. So hopefully once we're allowed to, see people in person again, I've got a list of videos that I still would like to make and a book that I still would like to do. And so hopefully I'll be able to get back to the studio and make some more balloon videos. There will be a whole bunch of stuff coming out on my channel and other things. You may have noticed that I changed it to Sandy Missouri Presents, and that was to kind of give me the room to to explore other things, like there'll be some things coming out with the books I'm doing and my authors, not balloon related necessarily. Oh no, the school closed for your first event. Oh, I'm so sorry. Yeah, I had a few events that that also got canceled besides my son's bar mitzvah. A couple of them had to refund, and thank God a couple of them also just said, you know what, we're rescheduling for next year. And I said, okay, I'm on. You got it. I'm gonna put your materials. I mean, so one of them was like 10 days away. I'm gonna put your materials away, and they'll be ready for you when we reschedule this event. So it's yeah, it's been a crazy time. Crazy. How has it been? 4 months now? I don't know. But yeah. Oh, thank you, Lourdes. Wow. Thank you. I really do love seeing you guys' success. And those of you who have graduated from boot camp and gone on to huge big lives and booming businesses, please don't forget us in the Beginning Balloon Pros group and in the boot camp group, and keep sharing what you're doing with us. We love seeing it. I love seeing it especially, but I think everybody else does too. So what else can I tell you about Balloon Business Bootcamp? Any of you guys who have already taken it, if you want to put anything in the chat for people who are on the fence or thinking about it, it really is a great price right now. I'm telling you that it's a steal at this price. And if it's a stretch, I'm willing to do payment arrangements with you. We can do a payment plan. But I mean, this price is even if all you were getting was my photos and nothing else, it would be a steal. So, and you're getting a lot more. So, okay, another note to self: next time you do a live, actually have an agenda so that you don't just sit there like, going, so what should I talk about now? Okay, so talking about opening a retail spot, we did talk a little bit about it in the boot camp, I think, but I never had a retail store. I was always home-based, so it's not anything that I can talk about knowledgeably. So the things about marketing and pricing and sales, those are applicable whether you have a retail location or are home-based or a commercial location. So all of those things still apply, but the things that are really specific towards merchandising in your store, getting walk-in traffic, your store displays, we don't talk about because it's not a subject that I would consider myself an expert on. If there were enough people needing that, then I would find an expert and schedule a webinar to talk about that. But I want to say, I can't remember who, but I want to say that Joette has probably done some interviews with a couple of people who had retail locations. Maybe Liz Romani. I can't remember who she interviewed, but I do seem to remember that she might have done an interview with some people in retail locations. What got me started in the business? It was an accident. I was a first grade teacher, and it started off as something to do to support my teaching habit and to get the kids to behave. And so my first time going out doing balloons, so the way that it happened was this: actually, to make extra money, I was cocktailing in a magic themed dinner theater in Los Angeles, and so I was hanging out with magicians, and so I started to learn magic. So I knew what my new friends were talking about, and magic was really hard for me. I was so afraid of making a mistake or flashing or giving away the trick or whatever, and I didn't have a whole lot of confidence in it. Well, one day I was with a friend whose husband was a magician, and we're sitting in her house and her kids running around, and she's like, oh yeah, I used to do balloons. I'm like, cool, show me something. So she taught me my first balloons, and I was like, oh, I can do this. And this was twisting, it just kind of came naturally to my hands. It was the first artistic expression that my hands could understand as much as my brain could. And so so then we started working together. We would go out to the bars and nightclubs of Hollywood, West Hollywood, Burbank, and do balloons, busking. And then we started to get birthday parties, and that's how it started. And then the next thing I knew, my school went off track for the year, like summer vacation, and I was invited to go perform in Japan. So I went as part of a magic show, and then from there moved out, into the big city on my own, found an agent, and the rest is balloon history, I guess. So that's how I started. Okay, I get a lot of clients from online, but not from Facebook. Most of my clients do find me through Google, or word of mouth. Word of mouth really is the best, but obviously takes longer to establish. My customers, they place orders with me by calling me. For me, it's really important to talk to every customer, because if they just say, how much is an arch? I don't know what kind of arch do they want. Do they want a string of pearls arch? Do they want a do they want a spiral arch? Do they want organic garland? Like, we need to have a conversation. And in that conversation, I can get a little bit of a feel for what they want, who they are, what their budget is, and I can really tailor my quote to their needs. And that's how I present it to them, is, that I really want to make sure that I get them the right thing for their vision and their budget. Do I have any advice for those of you just starting out? Yes, I do. Say yes and then figure out how to do it. Say yes, charge a lot, and then figure out how to do it, right? So that's what I did. I said yes to projects that were way, way, way over my head, and I charged a price that would allow me to fly somebody in to help me with it. So, I mean, people, aw. Well, this will be on as a replay, don't worry. God, I really need to have coffee before I do a live. I am so scattered right now. I'm like on full-on ADHD overdrive here, trying to monitor the questions. And okay, so note to self, might need to, oh, right. Okay, so if a customer sends me an email, then my response back to them is, hey, what would be a good time and number to connect and talk about your event? I don't take orders by email. I need to talk to them. I want to make sure I'm giving them the right thing. I want to make sure that, also, if the price is too high, you can hear it in their voice. And that way, you know when you need to pull back or offer them a discount to close that sale. Generally, I have them going to my cell phone. Actually, this is something that I would want to talk about, because this was a mistake that I made. So I have my cell phone number is where all the calls come into, and I answer if I'm able to, because people don't want to leave a message. They want immediate relief. And very often the person who answers the phone is the one that's going to get the job, right? Sometimes they're calling around for pricing or for whatever, but most of the time the person that answers is going to close it. So, even though officially on my website it says 9 to 5, if I'm available to answer, I do. So now I wanted to talk to you about phone numbers, right? Because I have my phone number as my cell phone. Big mistake. Huge, 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 huge mistake. Because then when I went to sell my business, now what do? Everything's connected to my cell phone, and my personal stuff is connected to my cell phone, and my book stuff is connected to my cell phone, and my TV appearances are connected to my cell phone. So now I'm stuck with a number that I can't get rid of. So here's what I recommend if you are not already attached to your number, and that is get a dedicated number just for your balloons. Either a cell phone that you can forward to yourself if you don't want to, have multiple lines that you're dealing with, or Google Voice number, or a ring.com number, I think is one of them, or a dedicated line, so that in the event that, if you're like me and you're thinking, oh, I'm never going to retire from balloons, but then 25 years later you find yourself wanting to retire from balloons, you have it set up in a way that you could actually sell it. So there is the biggest piece of advice that I can give you from my mistakes is to have a dedicated phone number and not just your cell phone. Do I do stuff to put on social media? Do I worry about the picture lighting? I mean, I try to get the picture lighting as good as possible. I try to stage when I'm out in the wild, so to speak. I try to, take a picture where it's not backlit and where you can see what's in it. But, sometimes you get what you get. So I take a picture at every event because that picture is my proof of what it looked like when I left. But I don't, you can't always get it perfect. A lot of times when you're finishing setting up an event, especially a corporate event or a large event, the sound guys and the lighting guys are playing with things right when you're finished and trying to get your picture. So, sometimes you just got to roll with it and do the best you can. But like I said, I mean, to me, it's nice to have the beautiful pictures to sell, but I also want the social proof of, yes, this is real. I'm really on a job. Look, there's a helium tank. This is not staged just for a photo. This was a real job. And so that's why not all of my pictures are pristine. And if you go on my website, you can see that. I mean, the pictures on my website are the pictures that are in the Balloon Business Bootcamp Dropbox folder of photos. And some pictures that are on my website because I stopped putting pictures on my website about 4 years ago. Do I have an order minimum? I do. My minimum is $500 because frankly, it's not worth it to me to leave the house for under that. That was not my minimum when I started. It started at 150 and then just kind of climbed as I found myself resenting jobs when they were for too little money. And so I just made the decision that now for deliveries, we would do a 250 minimum, but for full service decor, I don't want to give up a day to, be on site of a job for pennies. And again, I'm going to say this again, it really depends on what you decide about who you are as a business. What is your business model? Are you Nordstrom and Neiman Marcus or are you Walmart? Both are valid. But depending on what you choose, that's also going to depend on how you build your business. How did you start to get jobs? Really, the way you guys are doing it, by doing your extremely discounted and free events, friends, family, your church, your synagogue, your schools, anywhere that you can display your balloons. It's a challenge right now. A lot of the places that usually are open are not. If you live on a busy street and you do your own yard art, that might be a way. But Facebook groups, Facebook now is probably especially a really good way because really right now you are looking, I would say your biggest opportunity is yard art and those drive-by celebrations. I mean, if you're in a place that's still shut down, that's really what you got. And people are going pretty elaborate on that stuff because they feel really guilty that they can't do, celebrations for their family or their loved ones. So, yeah. Let's see. Thank you, Carlene. Lourdes, you use Google Voice. Yeah, good. I can't see all the questions. Let's see. Where do I purchase balloons from? I use a variety of suppliers. My first choice is my local supplier because I can drive there and get the balloons instantly. If she doesn't have them, she only carries certain brands, then I'm going to use, the ones that are, I'm going to kind of go out geographically going from closest to farthest because time matters. And a lot of times I'm getting last minute orders. And I do mean last minute. I think the record was 2 hours. But so my next closest is going to be in Santa Ana, Cerritos. So I'm going to go to Mayflower Balloons. Then I'm going to go to Loftus Balloons in Salt Lake City. I'm going to go to MSR Balloons in Washington. So, I would say that really all your major balloon distributors, if you're going to go on the Qualitex website, if you go on the Vitalik website, the Anagram website, and you see who their distributors are, pick the ones closest to you. I mean, the differences in prices are probably going to be minimal, but the differences in shipping can make or break you. How far will I travel for a job? I will go anywhere. I've been brought to Mexico. I've been brought across country. However, if I'm leaving San Diego, they're paying for it. So if it's within San Diego, then I charge my standard setup and strike, which is $150. And if it's outside of San Diego, then I charge $1.50 per mile each way. And if it's outside of, what would comfortably be a just a couple hours drive back and forth, then they also have to put me up in a hotel and pay a per diem for the days of work that I'm not going to be able to do. So if it's a simple job and it's far away, usually I'll refer it on. I'll just say, hey, here's the closest balloon artist to you or to this job, and you're going to save a lot of money by hiring them rather than paying me to go out and do it. Sometimes they want me to do it anyway, even though it's only an arch and a couple of columns. Usually that will happen with corporate, that they just want the person they know they can depend on, and they don't care to send you somewhere else. But most of the time, they're very appreciative to get the referral to somebody that's going to be a little bit cheaper because they don't have to pay the travel. And to be honest, it's easier for me to be closer to home. So again, you want to, and we talk about this a lot in Bootcamp, a lot, about how you build your business to suit you, right? I mean, you want to build a business that you're going to love, not that you're going to resent. And there's an author who is very famous in the entrepreneurship world. His name is Michael Gerber, and his book is called The E-Myth Revisited. Well, that's one of his books, but that's the most famous book that he's written. And in that book, basically the premise is that if you are an entrepreneur and you're doing things that you could pay somebody to do, right? So you're doing things that you could pay somebody minimum wage or a minimal amount of money to do, then you don't have a business, you have a job. And it's not a good job because your boss is an idiot. So when you're setting up your business, you want to think about that to make sure that you don't accidentally give yourself a job where your boss is an idiot. And I will freely say that having worked for myself for 25 years, many, many years of those, my boss was an idiot. So, yeah. Do I recommend a time frame? I mean, officially, if I have notice, I take 50% 2 months in advance and the balance 2 weeks before. But like I said, I mean, if somebody calls and it's 2 hours notice and I'm able to pull it off, I'm going to do it. If I have to rush supplies, then they're going to pay for that rush. And I tell them that. That's one of the ways that sometimes you can get somebody to sign a contract if they're kind of lagging, is just to say, hey, look, we're this far out from the event, and and if it's not, if we don't have the deposit by 2 weeks before, then I'm going to have to charge you a rush fee because we're going to have to overnight the supplies. That usually will get a slow moving customer moving. So, yeah. In terms of you being harsh or not harsh, that's up to you. It's your business. What are you comfortable with? If I'm available, I do well under pressure and fly by the seat of my pants, so to speak. So I don't mind doing that. I don't mind doing last minute if I can. But if you're a person who, really has to have everything a certain way, and is very regimented, really needs things very organized and structured, and it's going to freak you out to do a last minute job, then your policy is that you don't, that you're sorry, you're fully booked and you just can't accommodate any more jobs. The first position I hired someone for, so I never hired anybody full-time. All of my assistants were part-time. Basically I need people that I can cross-train in everything. So what I look for is somebody who's got a good attitude, who's got good hands, and is a fast learner, right? You want somebody who can anticipate what you need and who can pick it up quickly. I didn't need somebody that had previous balloon skills. In fact, I would prefer to teach them balloons myself so that they would do it my way rather than, the way that somebody else taught them correctly or incorrectly. So, I pretty much had them doing everything in terms of, the balloon execution, the event execution, inflating the balloons, building the frames, whatever. And then I would hire people as needed for special skills. For example, Ken Stillman is a good friend of mine, and I will hire him to help me with framing when I have something that really needs some specialty framing, because he's a genius at it. So knowing who's in the industry and what they're good at, that's one of the great things about this industry is people are so willing to help each other. And as long as you charge enough to be able to fly them out and help them and pay them a little something, and you'll see that they'll, professional courtesy, they'll probably be very reasonable about how much you need to pay them, but you do have to pay their expenses, of course. It's a really good way to be able to confidently do things that might otherwise be above you and learn. How early? Okay, 260s you really want to do maximum the night before. You really can't do 260s much before that because they just lose too much air. Somebody's asking, how early can you do a display that includes 260s? You can do the round balloons several days before the event if they're air filled, but 260s you really want to do the day or the afternoon or the evening before at most. Do I have, no, I never have people, my assistants, you mean? Yes, they come to my house. So again, that's, having people that I can trust is really important. And I had one person that was a nightmare, and I had to change all my locks and everything. It became a big, huge thing. But for the most part, I've trusted my gut on hiring people. Now, having said that, I had said that I don't want other balloon people, but that's not completely true, because a lot of times I will hire local balloon people who have their own businesses, my local competitors. In San Diego, we're very lucky that we're very friendly. We help each other out. I'm always willing to pitch in on somebody else's job if they need an extra pair of hands, and I'm available. And I have my regular assistants, and then if I need extra hands, I'm going out to my local balloon community. And if I can't find what I need in my local balloon community, maybe it's a big weekend or whatever, then I'm gonna, kind of keep going out again, geography based, right? So I'm gonna start with local, and then I'm gonna go out to Orange County, then I'm gonna go out to LA, looking for people who can come and help. So, and some of them, like if we have a really big install, then maybe I don't need 6 people in my house, but maybe I do need 6 people on site. So in that case, I would have people meet us on site, that weren't like maybe my main assistant, or maybe if it's somebody who's got mad balloon skills because they have their own business, I'm paying them at a different rate, then I want to really minimize how much time I'm using them, or something like that. So it really just depends. I mean, everything is pretty job specific. No. Okay. So this is a good question about assistance from the client. Here is what I have found. Every single time, and this normally happens especially with school events, that I have been told, oh, we have volunteers who are going to help you, and so you don't need to bring your crew. It has been a disaster, and I want to look right into the camera because I cannot emphasize this enough. A disaster, like huge disaster, because people don't do what they say they're going to do, and they get off in their little groups and they go talking, and they're not skilled, and the responsibility is not to you. So if they have volunteers, I'll accept them, but I won't count on them unless there is one exception to that, and that is if I'm doing a guided delivery, a guided balloon delivery. Now, what is a guided balloon delivery? That is when I'm coming, I inflate a bunch of helium balloons at a bulk rate, and then I quickly show one of their volunteers, here's how you arrange them. Make sure that they, like watch them do one, and then I leave so that I'm on site hardly at all. I am not sitting there supervising them setting up. I'm showing them once, here's how you do it, and I'm out of there. It's a guided DIY delivery, right? So really it's DIY, but I'm inflating the balloons for them so that they're properly inflated. So that is my exception. Now, once again, that's what works for me. I can't tell you that it's not going to work for you. It might be that having your clients do the setup is a way that you can keep the prices low. You may need to get some assurances from them that they're going to be available to help you, or have the person that they promised is going to be there to help you actually there, because I've also found that they say, oh, we're going to have this person to volunteer, and I get there and it's all me. So if you're going to adopt that policy, you just want to be really clear with your clients what your expectations are. Yeah, okay, so here's the thing. DIYers are DIYers. So the question I'm answering, she says her problem is selling, and that she found that since most people are home, they'd rather DIY. People who like to DIY are not going to hire you. period. They're not. They get pleasure and pride out of doing it themselves. They're not your client. Now, what you might be able to do though is you might be able to sell them a kit, right? Here is an arch kit. They don't need to buy it on Amazon. They can buy it from you. You can customize their colors or whatever, right? So if you know that they're a DIYer, now you can say, okay, well, what can I sell them? So if they're not your client, they're not your client. Move on and find the ones who are your client. And to do that, you want to define who you are as a business. And again, this is exactly what we talk about in Balloon Business Bootcamp. So what I'm trying to do, standing on one foot in quick clip sentences, we're talking really in depth over 6 weeks, 2 to 3 hours at a time. And so I really, really, really recommend, if you have questions, issues, challenges, or even if you don't with pricing, marketing, or sales, that you invest in the HomeStudy edition of Balloon Business Bootcamp. Here's the link. Ballooncourse.com. It is at a crazy, crazy, crazy discounted price right now. It does come with access to all of my photos that you can use however you want. That is, you can use them on your website, you can use them in your print marketing materials, you can use them on your Facebook page, you can use them however you want, except publishing them in a book with an ISBN number. What is the best frame to use outside? Should you build one or purchase it? I recommend building it. I mean, the Aeropole's pretty good. The Aeropole is a good one. It's an expensive one, but it's good. But all of my other frames we build. And in fact, half the time I'm probably going to go for my homemade arch frame rather than the Aeropole, because I'm scared of the Aeropole breaking since I got rid of all but one, since I sold them all. How do you deal with insurance? Someone not paying? Okay, I do contracts with my larger jobs. I don't always do them. My contract, if you're in the beginning Balloon Professionals group, you can find it in the files. Just do a search in the files for my name and you'll find the contract. It's like a 3-pager. It covers everything. It's crazy. Since I get payment in advance, it's very rarely a problem that I don't get paid. If I don't get paid, I don't show up to do the job. And so that's a pretty good way to make sure that you get paid. Insurance is important. You need to have insurance. I use State Farm. Talk to your regular insurance company, State Farm, 21st Century, Allstate, whatever. It shouldn't be that expensive. It might take some doing to figure out where to classify you. They don't have a balloon business category, so you might go under a gift and novelty store or floral or something like that. Talk to your insurance agent to find what's going to be the best rate for your area, since we could fit into so many different categories. But it is really important to have insurance. Now, I've never had a, knock on wood, I've never had a claim on my insurance, but it's important to have it. And if you want to do corporate work, a lot of times they're going to require at least a $2 million policy. It's also something that you can just use to legitimize yourself, right? When you're talking to clients and they're saying, oh, well, Joe Schmo down the street is $20 less. And you say, well, we are professional, we are licensed and insured, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. There's really no license, well, business license, yeah. So, you can use it as kind of a sales point. Another one is biodegradable balloons. My company uses we use all biodegradable latex balloons. Well, all latex balloons are biodegradable, but they don't know that. So it's a selling point. Let's see, what other questions? You're not seeing the link. Okay, it's ballooncourse.com. Let me try to, ballooncourse.com. Let me see if I can write it here. Ballooncourse.com. There you go. And that's the link to the Home Business Bootcamp. And if you when you sign up, I need to enter you manually into the Kajabi system. So it might take a couple of hours before you get your login information, but I try to do it as fast as I can to get it to you. And the email that you will get with your login information is going to come from Kajabi, and that is the membership site, the portal that all the information is stored in. And it's going to drip. Every module is coming once a week, right? So there's 6 modules. So the full course will be delivered over 6 weeks, but you can go back and revisit it or take your time to consume the content over however long you want. It's just designed that way so that it's not overwhelming because there's a lot of information. Build a frame. Or build a frame. Oh, okay. How do I decide when to use my arrow pull and when to build a frame? That's a good question. I guess if I'm trying to, like, if I need to deliver it in my van, then I'm probably more likely to use the arrow pull because it's more compact. If I need to do more than one arch, then I'm going to build a frame so that they'll be exactly the same because I only have one arrow pull. I think most of the time now, my default is probably building the frame, actually. I think I'm doing that more than the arrow pull now. I don't know that I have a system to decide. It's probably more of a coin flipping kind of thing, whichever one my hand touches first or whatever's going through my head that morning when I'm loading up. I mentioned that I'm ADHD, right? So I can't stress that enough. All right, let's see. What other questions have we got here? I have heard that you can heat seal Mylar balloons. The question is suggestions on how to seal Mylar balloons without a professional tool. I've heard that you can use an iron or a curling iron or a flat iron to do it, but I have never tried. So I can't give you the best technique on it because I've never tried to do it. I know that people in the group have done it. So if you search the Beginning Balloon Professionals group on Facebook, you might be able to find some. And if you can't find it there, try Googling it. I know that there's tutorials out there, especially coming from the DIY crowds who wouldn't have the professional equipment. I got professional equipment right from the beginning. So I've always had a heat sealer. And even with the heat sealer, it can be a huge pain in the butt. You gotta put in several seals. Never depend on just one seal. Never, ever, ever, ever. Like 3 or 4 or 5. Yeah, exactly. If you're using that gray PVC, they stand up really well for weather. They do really well even under wind. Now, I've never been in a hurricane. I would never guarantee anything in a hurricane. I mean, we do get some areas here in San Diego that get crazy windy. And when we're doing setups in that area, I do warn my clients that I can't guarantee anything, that I'll employ best practices. So I always want to be honest with my clients. I always want to make sure that I always exceed their expectations, and that includes you guys, right? So if you're coming in and taking boot camp there too, I want to be blatantly honest with you guys. I want to make sure that you get more than what you were expecting, not less. And that's really important for me as a business person. No matter what I do, that I always want to under promise and over deliver. So with weather, sometimes I almost scare my clients. They almost want to cancel it, and I'm like, no, it'll probably be fine. But I just want to let you know that I have to give you this disclaimer. So yeah, so I had an interesting journey with selling the business, actually. I tried to sell it a couple of times, and one time it was sold, and it fell through because the girl who was going to buy it, her life fell apart. She's a really nice girl. Oh, the Facebook group is Beginning Balloon Professionals. And if you, there are some questions, you do need to answer questions to join, just so that way, we can make sure that we're not getting overrun by bots. And I'm trying to have my assistant go through the Facebook and let people in once a week or so. So if it takes a couple of days, my apologies, or maybe just shoot me a message so that we can, go and know that you're waiting to be let in. So it's Beginning Balloon Professionals is the name of the Facebook group. I also have another Facebook group, DIY Balloon Art, that's more targeted towards people who don't want to make money with it. There's a lot of crossover. But if you want to talk about pricing, if you want to talk about things that are specific to the business of it, then Beginning Balloon Professionals is really your place. And you definitely want to sign up for my home study edition of Balloon Business Bootcamp. The website is ballooncourse.com, BALLOONCOURSE.com, www.ballooncourse.com. And that is where over 6 weeks, there are 6 modules that are dripped out over 6 weeks. Again, you can take as long as you want to go through the material that really intensively go into the business of the business. That is marketing, pricing, and sales, making money. Because if you're not making money, then this is just a really fun, colorful hobby. And there's nothing wrong with that, but you want to know that that's what you're doing. So you want to know, if you're doing this as a business to make money, that you're actually making money. So how often to calibrate your sizer? That's a great question. In 25 years, I've never done it. I probably should have. I have two sizers, and they definitely blow up the balloons differently. So what we do is we make sure that projects are done on the same sizer, right? So if we're doing an arch and we're doing a bunch of columns, and I've got 2 people on the machines, I'll have one person doing the arch on one machine and one person doing the columns on the other machines, so that there will be no inconsistencies in each piece, if that makes sense. But in terms of the calibration, I don't know. Okay, so right, we were talking about selling the business. So I didn't go through a business broker or anything like that, so I really couldn't talk to doing it the proper way. It was more word of mouth, people that I knew. So I sold it to a past student of mine, actually, and then she just, like, life happened to her. It was just really unfortunate timing, and then my ex-husband actually ended up coming back. He had left the country for a while, and he ended up coming back to San Diego, so I sold it to him, which was really timely. So I'm kind of out of it and kind of not, because it's still happening out of my home. So yeah. You just bought 2 what? 2 Aeropoles? The Aeropoles are great. I had 3 and I'd sold 2 of them. So if you've got 2, then you're going to have matching arches. So that's what I was saying was, the reason that I wouldn't do, if I needed 2 arches, why I would do 2 framed arches instead of the Aeropoles, because I want them to be exactly matching. So if you've got 2 of them, then you've got your matching arches. You're good. They're a great product. I mean, I used them for years and years and years and years and years. It just kind of goes in cycles, I guess. Like I said, whichever one I reach for first. Yum. Gotta get rid of that COVID-30. Yes. All right, let's see here. What other questions are we getting? Let's see, what time is it? All right, 11. I've gone on for about an hour. I guess that's probably good for now. If you have questions about Balloon Business Bootcamp, the Home Study Edition, and you're just tuning in, feel free to message me. Message me, drop a comment here, tag me if you're going to comment in the group or on YouTube. If you're watching this on YouTube and you have questions about Balloon Business Bootcamp, email me. That's probably the best way to get me, because I have to admit that I don't check the comments on YouTube as often as I should. So I'm working on it. I'm work in progress. I'm working on a lot of things. You can put contact info, but I don't know if it will. Stay in. This is my first time using this software, so I don't know how it's going to work. So you might want a private message. But is it lifetime access to the course? Basically. So the reason I say basically is, as I mentioned, it goes through Kajabi. And at the moment, I have no plans to move away from Kajabi. And as long as I'm a member, as long as I'm paying for Kajabi, you will have access to the course. If I move away from Kajabi, then it would not be anytime soon, at least not in the next year, because I paid for a year. But if I move away from Kajabi, then you would just need to email me to get access to wherever it moved to. So, oh, how to private, yeah. I don't know, actually, because I don't know if you're on Facebook or YouTube, and this is my first time using StreamYard, so I don't know how to do this. So yes, hopefully next time I will be more adept at StreamYard, and this will be a smoother broadcast. What size balloons do I use? I use 11-inch balloons, sized to 7.5 to 8.5 inches, depending if I'm indoors or outdoors. So if I'm outdoors, I'm really going to go down to a 7 or a 7.5. I really want them really good and squishy. Hey, oh, from Australia. Yeah, I want to go to Australia when we're allowed to travel again. Are Americans allowed into Australia right now? Who knows? Oh, Facebook and YouTube. Yeah. On Facebook, you should be able to click on somebody's name. John, how are you? You should be able to click on somebody's name on Facebook to message them, I think. And YouTube, I don't know. No, we're not allowed into Australia right now. Yeah, well, okay. I'm just going to bite my tongue. I don't want to get political here. We're talking about balloons. Let's talk about happy things. Let's see if there's any other questions that I've missed here. Well, if I miss anything, just tag me and I'll try to come back and look at it. But I really, really, really recommend, obviously I'm biased, but I really recommend if you're building your balloon business and you want to make money, that you take the opportunity to go through the course. The course is specifically focusing on pricing, marketing, and sales. We talk about design, but mostly like in terms of reverse engineering. Your client sent you a picture and now you have to quote them a price. How do you do it? What do you see? So it's really about that, more so than, hey, here's the design and here's, now you're going to use a red balloon and now you're going to use a blue balloon. We got 400 videos on YouTube for that. So this is really about how to make money. So yeah, well, with that, let's see. I want to leave you with something good. So let me think of a good little tip that I can send you off with. Well, here's a tip. When you're going to do a live video, have an agenda so you know what you're going to say, and so that you've already planned out your really awesome closing comment so that you can leave people with something strong, and so that you don't sit there at the end going, I don't know what to say. So there's the tip, that when you do a live or you do a video, to have your bullet points of what you're going to talk about and to have your closing so that you can have a strong tip to leave people on. And there you go. I hope you find that useful. So one more time, Balloon Business Bootcamp. It's the HomeStudy edition. It is the recordings from a previous course. It is not live. You can go through it in your pajamas, on your own time, at your computer, whenever you want. The information is dripped out over 6 weeks. And the website is www.ballooncourse.com. That's www.ballooncourse. There you go. And I'll put it back in the chat log one more time. And that is it. All right. Well, thank you so much for joining me, guys. And thank you for helping me test this software. And I look forward to seeing you in the Kajabi portal. Have a great and profitable day. I hope that you guys are doing great in spite of the pandemic, and I wish you all the best. I wish you I wish you love. I wish you happiness. I wish you money. Now go forth and balloonify. Mwah! Now, how do I end it? Let's see. There we go. Bye.